Hi, my beautiful people. How are we doing today? Um, it's good to have you here once again. So, this is still Jennifer, and like I said, I'll be much more consistent than before because I think I have a little bit of time now. I will gladly be giving us all of the notifications I I feel you should know before your day for your interview. So if you are just seeing me for the first time, please do not make it your last, and also subscribe to my channel, so you and also hit notification button so that anytime I post a new video, you'll be notified there is something there for you. So without wasting much of our time, let's dive right into the video. So today, I'll be going through some questions that I was asked by my followers, yeah. So I know someone else might need it. Yeah. So let me just run the question, then I'll answer them bit by bit. So the first question is, do your spouse have to be present on the day of your interview? The answer is no. Your spouse don't have to be in your home country on the day of your interview. Your spouse can decide to come, of course. Your spouse can decide to follow you to the venue, of course. But he or she is not allowed to go into the interview premises. No, you are the only one who is going to be interviewed that should enter into the premises. So your spouse presence on the day of your interview, it's not relevant. So even if he or she is around, let he or she stay and rest and wait for you while you go and answer for yourself and come back. Unless there is a need for that, but there is absolutely no need for your spouse to be present on the day of your interview. That's number one question. The second one, do you as a Nigeria get interviewed in another African country? Well, yes. As a Nigerian, you can decide to get interviewed in another African country. That is if you transfer your case from Nigeria to other African countries. So if your case is transferred, of course you can. But if your case is not transferred, you can't. You stay and wait until you get your appointment letter. So that's it for this. Very simple. So the other question is, do you or your spouse get interviewed at the embassy on the same day of your interview? Wow. This is a very complicated question, but I will try to answer based on my understanding. Do you or your spouse get interviewed on the same on the at the embassy on the same day, or is it just you that should be interviewed? Okay, this is going to be a little bit of explanation, but I will try to make it very short because I don't want a long video. So your spouse and yourself don't need to be interviewed on the same day of your interview. No, they gave you the appointment letter, not your spouse. Your spouse might probably be in the United States. So whether you get interviewed, so no, your spouse of course will be in the United States. Then you go for your interview. So, but the situation whereby your spouse needs to be interviewed, that will determine after you have been interviewed in your home country if there is anything that the consular do not understand. If there is anything that is tricky to them, they want further investigation, that is when they will require that your spouse get interviewed. But if your spouse is going to be interviewed, your spouse does not necessarily need to come back to your home country. No, your spouse will be here in the United States while the interview goes on the phone. They know how they do all those things. I don't know. They know how they do it. It's more like a visual interview. So you get interviewed, like they will kind of reschedule you. Yeah. But this time around is you, your spouse, and the consular. So they're gonna be asking you guys different kind of questions. Yeah. And they're likely going to ask you guys the same questions. Yeah, the same question, the both of you. So is the answer that the both of you give that will determine if your marriage is legit. And also, if your spouse um have been, as maybe you guys got married in 2019, and your spouse after 2019, your spouse has not visited till date, and your interview is fast approaching, please, everybody's case, whenever I want to give this kind of advice, I will always say everybody's case is not the same. Everybody's case is not the same, and everyone's case is unique in its own way. So if your spouse has not visited ever since you guys got married, it may be in 2019, in 2020, depending, please tell him or her to try and come, even if it's one more time. Because I remember the day I was interviewed, I heard, because the interview venue is just like a hall. You'll be hearing like everyone's conversation. It's not like they will keep you in a room and ask you question. No, you'll be hearing what they're asking the other person. The other person will be hearing what they're asking you. So it's just like an open place. So nothing is hidden. So I think I overheard someone. Yeah, I overheard one lady. It was after her, then the consular asked her, "Oh, you got married in 2019?" Yeah, she got married in 2019. "And your spouse visited only once, I think only twice." And she said yes. But to me, I feel twice is not bad, but I don't know what transpired between the applicant and the consular. In fact, they were talking and talking until I was called for my interview, and I finished, I left, she was still there, so but I know I heard when the consular told the lady, your spouse needs to visit, needs to come, you know probably because, I don't know, probably because the lady has a child. Yeah. So I don't know what the consul actually meant by your spouse needs to visit again. So if your spouse has just visited once, it's not a guarantee that they will tell you, okay, that's okay. But if your spouse has visited more than once, it's cool. So try as much as you can to get your spouse to visit you, so that when you go for your interview, not all your paperwork are complete, and because of the visit, they will hold your passport and tell you to go. When your spouse visits, you should bring a proof or whatever. So that is basically that for your spouse visiting. So that takes me also to um this. Let me go through this. Or is it just you? It is only you that need to be interviewed. If there is more, the consular will let you know. If they need your spouse, the consular will let you know. So you don't need your spouse to follow you to anywhere. That is it for this question. So, and if you're still getting ready for your interview, I've said this in my previous videos. Just try and get as much ready as you can. I know this journey okay, let me encourage someone. I know this journey is kind of overwhelming. It's and some yeah, it's annoying, and um like I don't know the right word to use, but no matter how you feel about this, hang in there. Don't just relax, sit in the house, eat, make phone calls with your spouse from morning until night, and just be waiting. No, please don't just do that. The best I can tell you to do as someone waiting to come over here is go and do something for yourself. If you are a lady, you know how to braid. Just be perfect in it. Perfect your braiding skills. If you are still waiting for your appointment letter and you still do not know how to drive, I don't know what you are doing. No, I don't know what you are waiting for. Is it the day they will give you an appointment letter, you go to a driving school? No, go and get your driver's license, because car to drive in this country is a necessity. Of course, you're going to be here. The only thing that you don't know when. So not when that time comes, you start running helter skelter, you be confused. Yeah, so you don't want to do that. So the best you can do for yourself is to go and get your driver's license. It is necessary. After you will still use it here for I think a year. You still use it here, because mine, I used mine before I got DS here. So that's one thing. Then another thing is this. Yeah, that's just it. Basically, if you know how to make hair, especially if you can braid, do this braiding. Yeah, you're going to at least for the time being, while you wait for everything to set for you. If you have people that your spouse can introduce you to, it's also a plus, because it is not as rosy as we think. Not until you come, that's when you understand it properly. So that's just one of the advice I have to give to anyone who is still waiting for the appointment letter. Just hang in there. As you're waiting, be gathering your evidence. As you're waiting, be gathering your evidence. Gather everything you can that you can lay your hands on. Don't think this one is not necessary. Is that one that you feel that is irrelevant, that at the end of the day that it might be what they want. So be gathering all necessary things you can get. If your spouse visited only but once, advise him or her to visit more than once. That will increase your chances of not being delayed. Of course, they are going to grant you your visa, of course, but to avoid being more delayed than you are already, just do the right thing, and pray so that God will be the one who will help you, you know, give you the spirit of boldness. I know it's kind of it's crazy. Yeah, I will use the word crazy. You be overwhelmed. Yeah, during my own day, it's not like I was overwhelmed. Yeah, I was nervous. So you should like just pray so that God will just give you the spirit of boldness, so that when you get there, no matter what you're being, as they're your fellow human beings now, they're going to ask you. So, and if you don't understand anything, always remember to say, sorry, can you repeat it? Don't start answering what they did not ask you. So start um um rehearsing as much as you can. During my own time, I rehearsed to the point I was confused. Then later, I took a deep breath, then continued. So if you can do all of this, everything will be fine. That day, you just go there, grab that visa, get on the plane, and come here. And that's just the thing I have to tell you guys in terms of advising someone. So um that is just it for today's, should I call it episode? Yeah, today's episode. So if you're just seeing this face for the first time, hello lovelies, please do not make it your last. Do not make it your last. Please, please, please. Always remember to like the video, comment. If possible, you can share, and I would really appreciate. So, if you've made it this far to my channel, thank you so much, and please do not make it your last. I'll see you next time in my other video. Have a good evening wherever you are watching from. Bye.
I keep waiting for you to call. I'm thinking that I'm gonna need a miracle. Wasted again. I tell my friends